back coming at you from the north down. It has been a while, but we are back. Tyler G, Joe B. Joe, what's good? What's going on?
Man, it has been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. We have been on the game. We've made some shorts, some reels, but it's been long overdue for another podcast. So let's rock and roll, baby. June
Yep.
was a busy month, busy summer so far, but man, we are going to be popping over the next few weeks with some live takes, some sports talk, some rivalry, some Cubs, Brewers, just overall, it's summertime, baby. Let's get it, right?
Yep. And what a way to start start the summer here with some major NBA moves and news, especially coming from my neck of the woods here in Milwaukee with the Bucks on a heater this morning, waving Dame Lillard to make some room for the big acquisition, Myles Turner from the Indiana Pacers. Huge loss for the Pacers, huge win for the Bucks. I know there's going to be some Bucks fans out there pretty disappointed that we waived Dame Lillard here, but I mean, he's not going to play this year. It's just the right move. And frankly, Giannis and Dame just didn't work out. Even when they both were healthy, they didn't play well with each other. And I think there was some more moves that came after that. They signed Gary Harris from Orlando, signed Jericho Sims as well. So they're still making moves right now. And I think there's still some more to come here. So, your take.
I saw the notification pop through just after meeting, saw it come through, and I was like, man, like Dame being released, like there's so much hype. Geez, our maintenance guy, our guy that comes around and does some housework for us, our contractor, had a Dame hat on the other day. Came in, it was the Dame time hat, the giveaway, and I was like, man, like Dame had so much hype coming into the Bucks. But I agree with you. It's funny because with me being the Bulls fan and not really being an NBA guy, jumping in and seeing the whole Dame deal on the fact that he came in hot, stud player, star, top guy in the league, but he didn't click with Giannis from what I realized. Like it was some nights where he would put up 36 and then Giannis would put up 20 and they would lose, or vice versa. One would have the stats, one wouldn't, give or take, etc. And it didn't pan out. And like we've talked on previous podcasts on all this is the fact that the Bucks, they're getting older and they really need to find a way to just get some young blood in there, get some hot faces, and see it obviously didn't work. So move on from it, clear some cap, and then just move forward, right? So
Yeah, I mean, they're moving. They moved Pat Connaughton today. I forgot about that. They could somehow get rid of Kuzma here. I think I read too that they're going to be paying Dame here for the next like 5 years. So I mean, pretty crazy, but
that's nuts.
It's not worth losing. Yeah, like that's not a bad of a business move than losing Giannis to not making any moves. So even when Dame comes back, I don't think you're going to see 30 points a night. I don't see you're probably going to see a guy that's going to probably average between like 15 and 17, 18 points a game. Back end of his career, mid 30s. It didn't work out. The gamble didn't work out, but the Bucks, they're a better team than they were last night. Does that mean that they're top 4 teams in the East? I don't think so. I think they're like number 5. I think they're just outside still. I think there's more work to be done. I think there's going to be more moves made. If there isn't, I'm concerned still. So, but big splash today was the Milwaukee Bucks. So,
and at the end of the day, they have Giannis, right? Like Giannis, as long as he's on that Bucks will be relevant. They'll be able to carry the team. as long as he's there, you're good. Like, at least that's a solid base compared to my Bulls. Who the heck do the Bulls have? They don't have a star.
Yeah.
They don't have a star.
Who are the Chicago Bulls? I don't even know anymore. Do they even play in the NBA?
They sure don't act like they do. It's the Bulls. Chicago. It's Chicago, the team that dominated the 90s with the Jordan era and the Pippen, and then fast forward to 5 years ago in COVID with the Last Dance. The Bulls, it's Chicago. It should be a basketball city, but it's not. They haven't had a star really. Cool. You could say DeRozan and Levine, but screw that. They haven't had a star since Rose. Rose was the last player to make Chicago relevant with your Noah and your Gibson and your Heinrich for those few years. I'll tell you that. Bulls haven't had anybody. I don't care. Like, Levine was trash, and Levine will continue to be trash. DeRozan was solid, but he had his ups and downs. But now, I think another move recently was Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
Who did they get for him?
Yeah.
The kid from the Cavs?
Yeah, I don't know. Isaac, I believe his name is. I can't even think of the last name, but
No shot at him. But when not even 5-6 months ago, they're talking about maybe getting a first for Lonzo in the heat of the season, and here now they got a role player, potential starter from the Cavs. Like I don't follow basketball enough to be able to know all the key players and whatnot, but still. Like, why they got a box of rocks for all those guys?
You got you got a young core. You got Josh Giddey, who I love, and you guys just signed Trey Jones too to a 3-year, $24 million deal. A couple of days ago. Well, maybe it was yesterday, actually. Now I think about it.
But, I saw that come through.
So I know, and then I've heard some rumors you guys are linked to Jonathan Kuminga. So I mean, look at who was in the finals: the Thunder and obviously the Pacers. Two teams that have young cores. It's you got to have young, and you got to find pieces that are gonna have good chemistry to make a run into the playoffs. And it's kind of exciting. The one thing that's fun in the NBA is you could be a 5th or a 6th seed and make a run to the NBA finals. Everything else, the stars got to align, but
get some injuries in the mix and smooth sailing to the finals, and then it's anybody's ball game, right? So, but kudos to OKC and winning the chip, and kudos to Indy pulling through, and Tyrese, shout out to that man, battling injuries and still walking on the court and still playing. Fuck, kudos to that man. Kudos to the young guy. And that's a Wisconsin boy, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
So, man, good stretch, good time. But at the end of the day, let's see what else happens with the NBA come summer, see what moves shake up the league, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
See what happens come next season.
Switching gears here, looks like my Brewers are knocking on that door to overtake first place. We're coming after those Cubbies, and the last month here, we've been inching forward game by game. And honestly, so much stuff's been going on. I looked at the standings. It was either 2 games or 2.5 games within the Cubbies here. I don't know. Are you worried a little bit? Are you shaking in your boots? What's going on there?
Over the last 15, 20 games, the Cubs, the last 10, 15 specifically, you look at the last 10. So Cubs are only 2 games up, literally 2 games up on the Brewers, 3 games up on Cards. 4-6 in last 10, 8-2 for the Brewers. That alone is a huge jump. But ultimately, like, the biggest thing for the Cubs is they started off hot. They remained hot at the beginning. Their losses came to some good teams, some tough, rough losses from their bullpen. But then since then, the bullpen got together, but then the Cubs starting pitchers, you had a shaky shaky end right here recently. It shook up with a couple guys. Ben Brown literally started off decent, but then he just got rocked, and the starters have been getting rocked by the deep ball. They're getting some people on base, and they're getting rocked by the deep ball recently. And it all started with them losing Justin Steele and Shota and Managa right away. Luckily, Shota's back up and pitched a gem last week against the Cardinals on Thursday and literally got a shutout win. And after losing the first two in the series, won the second two against the Cards, which is big. But it's, man, every team has a rough stretch come summertime. The Cubs back in the World Series year 8 years ago now, literally had a rough stretch, but the only difference is now this Cubs team, they don't have the depth at starting pitching. They got a bunch of fours, bunch of threes, bunch of fours on their roster. They don't have any stud ones or twos that could really shake it up. So that's where the trade deadline comes into play.
Yep. And I feel like that's the next move, or the next gear that's going to be switched here, is getting closer to adding players and people, teams, kind of feathering their rosters here. And I mean, ever since, Jackson Churio made that game catch, back in end of May, this team, things just switched. I mean, they've been 13-4 since then, 9-1 run in the last 10 games. I mean, some offensive hot streaks. I mean, Brewers are putting up 8, 9, 10 runs a game right now, I feel like. Christian Yelich is batting .365, 7 home runs in the last 22 games.
For Yelich?
Yeah, Yelich he's back.
The old Yelich.
Yeah, the old Yelich.
Old Yelich is back,
He's
baby.
back. Jackson Churio hitting .321, and you got Bryce Turang. He's, I think, batting .310, it says here. He's great elite defense. And then pitching, Brewers got a solid rotation right now. So
how about that young kid?
Yes. Yep.
Bunch of young pitch. It's the typical Brewers. They're like that bug they're like that mosquito that just keeps coming back, right? It's that fly. It's the fly that keeps coming back.
Yep. And we got the All-Star break here in 2 weeks. So it'll be interesting. I'm sure it'll come down. And looking at the standings here, I'm sure who else is kind of knocking there too, and they always are, is the St. Louis Cardinals. They're always a thorn in the side. They're always right there knocking at the door, and they're going to be in the mix too at the end. But God, that NL Central, these teams just beat the hell out of each other every year. It's just that it's crazy.
It's going to be nuts. We shall see. The kicker is, like we've talked in the past, it's a long, long, long season. You just have to be within that 5 games back of the division or have the title going into All-Star break. End of July is when the real kings come out. Then it starts to heat up a little bit. You see some streaks, etc. But at the end of the day, too, come August, end of August is really where it lights up. Who gets hot, who sneaks out some wins and gains some ground and cushions their lead in the division, or who falls back and gets knocked down and really gets beat up. So luckily for the Cubs, they've had a rough stretch at the beginning of the year where they had a lot of strong teams, strong competition. Their last half is, last time I checked, they were like 29th best schedule coming up after the All-Star break. So let's see what happens, right?
Yep. It'll be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm watching more baseball here now that the NBA finals are over, and it's kind of the only sporting thing that's going on right now from till August now. So
Yeah, it's baseball is king, and this is that weird time where
Yep.
you're out of the NHL finals, you're out of NBA finals, the drafts are long gone, and then now it's literally baseball till July 31st, which is
Yep.
the preseason Hall of Fame game, right?
Yes, it's knocking on the door. NFL is knocking on the door, and it's getting pretty exciting. Yeah, looking forward to the season getting started here, and what's going to happen. Start talking about some more fantasy stuff here. I've been kind of dissecting that a little bit, and yeah, I'm excited, man.
Totally. And that's where I think the biggest thing moving forward is in between these live streams or the podcasts and jumping into some fantasy. Just I think for any of the fans and people, the viewers looking out today, I've seen it's a newer podcast. We're getting up and running, but I've been seeing some 3, 4, 5 all the way up to we had 22 at one point today. So appreciate everybody chiming in and jumping into the mix. And I think it just depends. Like we're all about keeping it real here. Let's go through some fantasy stuff, talk some live sports, shoot the shit, and let's have some fun, right?
Yeah, and as we get closer to, as we get further in June here, we'll definitely start breaking down some more fantasy stuff. I know people will be chiming in about that. I also got some questions myself, and we're gonna have some good topics about, snake draft versus auction draft, and why I think everybody should be on an auction draft. But that will be for another discussion as we get further into June here, and as the groups start pinpointing their draft dates and destinations, and we can talk about that as well, and kind of go into some depth about fantasy stuff, which I'm sure mostly everybody that probably watches this is in some form of fantasy sports, whether it's baseball, football, or basketball. So just some topics that are probably going to be coming up here soon. And, like and subscribe to this, because me and Joe are very knowledgeable, especially on the fantasy football sense of things. I think there'll be some really good feedback and some pretty good discussions on how maybe you can manage and draft your team this year. So, yeah.
Awesome. Otherwise, this one we're going to keep it nice and short. We're going to throw some reels up for the last remaining part of the day. We'll have some hot topics coming up soon, but for now, appreciate everybody for chiming in. And trust me, there will be many more podcasts, many more shorts and reels, and we'll be across all the platforms. So make sure, no matter where you're watching, like, subscribe, follow, comment. Any other updates or any questions you guys have, any polls that we could run, feel free, chime in, please, because from the north down, we do it all here, and we really want to engage with our followers and fans on not only YouTube, but we also want to dive into Instagram more, TikTok. We'll be jumping into Snapchat, Twitter down the line, or X per se, right? So please feel free, chime in. We'll dive in and have some fun, man. It's summertime. As Ty said, we're in the mix of the summer. It's just baseball. But hey, it's the best time for off season, different pickups from the different leagues, signings, drafts, etc. So let's have some fun. Sports 24/7.
Till next time. Thanks for joining, guys.
Appreciate you. Have a good day, guys.